Hey, what's up, everyone? Happy Thursday. I know it's Thursday, but this is really my first look. So yeah, let's just. So I feel like this week is gonna be a weird week because usually we go with three fairly expensive running backs, but take a look. I mean, a lot of people will go with Zeke. But the Dalvin Cooks, the Camaras, David Johnson might be a good play. The point is, a lot of these top backs are playing against top defenses. I'd love to have Mark Ingram, but I'm going to go elsewhere. I don't want to play anyone at the top. So for quarterback, there's a lot of matchups, good matchups. Again, you cannot go wrong with any of these. If I could afford it, I would probably go with Kyler Murray this week, the first week that I would ever do that. But I can't afford him. And you'll see that once you see the rest of my roster construction. I'm going down. There's two guys that I feel like. Also, I should preface this by saying I think it's going to be a weird week. And I always build my cash lineup first, but my cash lineup looks like a GPP tournament single entry lineup. This is how it goes sometimes. I'd love to throw out three expensive running backs, but I don't think you need to this week. There's a lot of juicy matchups that are inexpensive. So I think my first choice. And start bringing up, Gardner Minshew, the second. A lot of my picks have questionable tags right now. They weren't questionable when I was picking my team on Monday or Tuesday. But we're going to ignore that because most of the questionables, it just means they're a little banged up. But who isn't at this time of the season? And I'm going to hold my breath here. I think Kirk Cousins is a great play. The Eagles will not let them run the ball. Dalvin Cook, he's a different kind of a beast. He could have a 150-yard day. I feel like the person who wins the Millie Maker will probably have Dalvin Cook because no one else will play him because against the Eagles. But I feel like Kirk Cousins could be in line for at least a 20-point day. Like, you have to beat the Eagles, you have to throw on them, and you can. They're one of the worst defenses against the pass, but they're one of the best against the run. So we're going to go with Gardner here for now. For running backs, there's a lot of good matchups. I really like Mark Ingram. I think everyone, without watching any YouTube videos yet this week, I think everyone's going to play Mark Ingram. And probably Fournette. Excuse me. Allergies. And everyone might be playing David Johnson. And apparently he's banged up, so Edmonds might be in play too. But everyone's going to play these guys. Yeah, I probably should too. But I'm taking a different path this week. So I feel like people are going to go with Matt Ryan and Julio Jones again. I think Devonta Freeman's a sneaky play. He's had 2 18-point weeks in a row. This Cardinals defense is terrible against the run. And watching some of the Falcons games recently, they are bouncing Freeman outside effectively. 6-7 yard gains easily. And he can break one. And he's included in the passing game right now. And my internet apparently is not working right now, but he's getting a couple targets a game, a couple catches a game. He can break 1 or 2 long runs. And he might be able to score a touchdown. But he's a good play. He doesn't need to score a touchdown to hit his floor. But he's also a good ceiling play for GPP because he could go for 25 and no one will own him. Speaking of players that no one will own this week, look at this. Kenyon Drake. Yes, Jay Gruden's gone, but does that mean that the Skins defense is going to be magically good this week on the road? Like, this might be the worst game ever played. But I think Kenyon Drake scores a touchdown here. And I think he catches 5 or 6 passes. And that's enough. I also kind of would consider Carlos Hyde. It can also be a sneaky play. I would like it better if it was a home game for the Texans. But I don't think the Chiefs are necessarily going to blow the Texans out of the water. But I think Deshaun Watson's going to have to throw again. So, and then I like Tevin Coleman as well, but I don't like playing people against my Rams. But I think Tevin Coleman is a type of player that the Rams can stop. And then Matt Breida might be the go-to here. So, for now, I like Kenyon Drake. I'm hoping Kenyon Drake is like under 1% owned, but since he's playing the Skins, he might be higher owned, like 10%. But I have no idea. So this is where it gets interesting. Normally, I don't like to have all the receivers be expensive and the most talented receivers. That has never worked. Last week, I had like a dummy lineup with Michael Thomas and Julio and some of the other top. I know that Julio didn't do anything and he would have ruined the lineup anyways. Oh yeah, that's another thing too. I had my Falcons stack last week. I made it a point not to put in Will Fuller. I didn't think it was going to be the week. So a lot of people will be chasing Will Fuller this week. I'm not putting 3 good receivers in just because it worked last week. I'm doing it because I see the board, and I really feel like this is the way to win. Cash or GPP. So having said that, we have to get Gardner's buddy here. I have DJ Chark on my season-long fantasy team. I just picked him up 2 weeks ago. I've had him on my bench for the last 2 weeks because he's had tough matchups and he just excels. Is Lattimore going to be covering him? Or D.D. Westbrook? I feel like the Jaguars offense is going to do enough to have Chark have great matchups. He's at home against the Saints. Should be a kind of higher scoring game. I know the Jaguars can play defense, but if Jalen Ramsey may not play, I don't know. The Saints can put points on the board. The Jaguars can have 3 or more touchdowns. 1 goes to Chark, maybe 2. So that's what I like about him. Plus, this right here, this Minshew and Chark combo, people might be playing Leonard Fournette. This is a way to go contrarian. Same to Devonta Freeman. Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Hooper, Sanu, Ridley. Go contrarian. Okay, so this is where I like this lineup for right now, because without even trying, we're going contrarian. Okay. He's questionable. I know he had a big game last week, but he's going up against the Jets. I don't like people who had big games the week before, because one, more people will be on him, but he's going up against the Jets. And Darnold's back. So it should be a more competitive game. But if Cooper's banged up and doesn't play with this lineup, we have enough money for Hopkins. And I love playing Hopkins for, I forgot, I don't have the internet, it's not working apparently. He hasn't had a breakout game this year. He had 15 points last week, and 2 weeks ago he had 10. Everyone should shift to Fuller for this game. Still play Hopkins. But that's only if Amari Cooper is not available. But maybe play them together. But I really like, so let's go with Amari Cooper. And here we go. Another questionable, Adam Thielen. This is why you can play Cousins as well. Pair him up with Thielen. He'll be in the slot. I can picture him getting a 50-yard touchdown in the slot. Turn a 7 or 8 yard gain into a 50. this should be, I don't know, it's tough to say if it's going to be high scoring. The Vikings have a really good defense. But this game should be competitive enough that the Vikings will have to throw, and hopefully Dalvin Cook will be stopped and ineffective, and Thielen extension of the running game. But he's going to attack in their secondary. Okay. So, we have to go with my favorite player of all time, Cooper Kupp. I envision the Rams won't have much of a running game. Cooper Kupp, extension of the running game. See where I'm going with this? Yeah, I mean, this game is going to be a shootout. You could probably just stack this game and win a lot of money. So, you might want to try that out. And I'm going to leave you right here. I don't... usually I'll give all my plays except for a defense this year. But since this is a GPP team, I know not that many people watch, but still, if 10% of the people that watch this video just want to throw out a team that that I mentioned, which is fine, perfect for you, it's perfect for me, but we have to differentiate somewhere. So we're gonna go for a tight end, and it could make my video be a little shorter. So I like Gardner Minshew or Cousins, Devonta Freeman, Drake, Shark, Cooper, Thielen, and Kupp. And especially the running back position, it makes me a little uncomfortable, which is where you should be for GPP or cash. If it makes too much sense at this juncture of the week, you're not going to be able to change it on Sunday. I may just roll with this on Sunday if the questionables will play and are healthy. But what I'm trying to say is you should be a little bit uncomfortable going and competing with these lineups on Sunday. Those are the lineups that usually win. So this makes me a little uncomfortable, but I know it's contrarian, and I know it's good enough to cash, and I know it's contrarian enough to be different in a GPP. So I think I'm going to roll with one lineup this week and not a bunch. So we'll see how it goes. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing and hitting that like button. Wink, wink. Comment below. Who are you playing? Tell me what one or two players that you'd like to play. Maybe I didn't mention them. So anyways, if you can fit Ingram into your lineups, do that against the Browns. And, yep, I should have my next video on Saturday, possibly early Sunday morning. Okay, so anyways, have a good rest of the week, and let's win some money.